Morning to everybody. On behalf of DRC of ITPI, I welcome all the participants of this webinar, DRC members, planning professionals, planning students, and others who have spared their time and registered with us to join this webinar. So, on behalf of DRC, I welcome all these participants and professionals. Today, the topic for this webinar is Jamuna and the city of Delhi in planning perspective. Actually, this topic is very relevant in today's context. In India, when she takes the names of some rivers like the Ganga, Jamuna, Godavari, these are not only the water bodies and water resources, but these are the matter and reflection of faith and religion. And that's why this river has own importance nowadays. It has also geological and ecological integrity, and in fact, it is the lifeline of the today's civilization from ancient time to till date. But nowadays, such rivers become polluted due to the municipal wastewater, industrial pollution, solid waste disposal, sometimes the pollution loads that comes from the tributaries. And that's why nowadays the restoration of this type of the river where the lifeline is very important. There is another sources also which also pollute this river, just like a agriculture runoff, partially cremated bodies, associated material, sometime open defecation also. But in spite of all these things, these are our lifeline. And as a urban planner and as a planning professional, it is our duty to restore these type of the rivers for the sustainability as well as the survival of the civilization. However, water is a state subject, but many policies frame at the national and state level. In 2008, when the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climatic Change, they have launched a program called National Action Plan on Climatic Change. At that time, they have selected the 8 missions. And out of 8 missions, one mission was National Water Mission. So it has own importance. Central government also taken initiatives for the regarding the water management part. After that, National Water Policy in 2012 was also framed. And presently, the National Mission for Clean Ganga is a flagship program of the central government, under which the Namami Gange program was initiated, and is 100% central government funded with a budget allocation of 20,000 crore, and that was started in 2015. So like that, central government is also working in that field. At the same time, various state government have also taken the riverfront development proposals and projects. Government of Gujarat has started in 2007 to 2012 Jal Mandir scheme, the steep water restoration, and Rani Ka Bav that has become the UNESCO heritage site in 2014 is one of the outcome of this type of the initiative. So today's topic is really a very important topic and relevant one, and we have the two eminent speakers in that field. We are going to give the exposure on this thing. So with these words, I welcome all the participants in this webinar. Now I request our chief guest, Professor Dr. D.S. Misram, the president of ITPI and a well-known personality in the planning profession. So I request him to deliver this all the participants in this webinar. Dr. Professor D.S. Misram.
Thank you, Dr. Pawan Kumar. Well, today's webinar is very important, as said by Dr. Pawan Kumar. Reason being, we have conducted so many webinars and all of them were focusing on the COVID-19 and its follow-up and its effects and all this thing in the present situation and future situation. And then this is just a changeover on the subjects, which is very much welcome. And we are thankful to the efforts of the Professor Dr. P.S.N. Rao, Chairman of the Delhi Regional Chapter. And then, of course, today there are dignitaries present are Shri Pradeep Kapoorji, Secretary General ITPI, Guest of Honor. And of course, the key speakers are Professor Dr. R. Biswas, Professor of Planning and Head CAS, School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. Shrimati Poonam Dewan, Madam Speaker, she is the Additional Commissioner in Delhi Development Authority, and of course the Secretary of DRC, Dr. Pawan Kumar. And dignitaries are also Amit Kumar and of course Mr. Kodankar. They are also there on the dais, of course. And thank you for giving me the opportunity and calling me as a guest, which I always say I am not the guest, but I am the part of you. So kindly don't call me as a guest. The topic, as it is very important, and that is what I am saying. I have just started searching when the topic is really important, in the sense that the topic focus on the Yamuna and the city of Delhi, a planning perspective. Of course, both the speakers, learned speakers, are going to give the perspective. But the things come to my mind, and I started seeing what is that Delhi and River Yamuna is. So I looked into the aspect of the vision of the Delhi 2021. I will read for you. uh, to make Delhi global metropolis and world-class city and provide better quality of the life in a sustainable environment to the Delhi. And then question comes to my mind, have we really realized this particular vision of the Delhi which was really conceived at the time of the preparation of the development plan or not? I'm very sure that the speakers will be throw some light on this. But just to give the few facts, River Yamuna once was the life of the Delhi people. Then why it is not today the life of the Delhi people? That is what a question comes to my mind. We always say the earlier it was a life of Delhi. Can we make this River Yamuna as a life of the present generation also? Why only always remain in the past that once it was a life of the Delhi? Why not today? What is wrong with that? Why can't we see and make the River Yamuna as a lifeline of the Delhi? But today, the Jamna suffers from inadequate flow and quantum of water, extremely high degree of pollution. When I say that the extremely high degree of the pollution, these are not my words. This is mentioned in the MPD 2021. So we have to really understand why this extremely high degree of the pollution, Yamuna, which was once a lifeline of Delhi. So just to give the few facts, the length of the river Jamna in the NCT Delhi is 48 kilometers, starting from the Pala to Okhla, north to south. Riverbed floodplain area is around 97 square kilometers. That amount to 7% of the total land of the national capital territory of the Delhi. It is not a small amount. 7% is a very high area which is under the River Yamuna bed, and why we are really neglecting all these things is required to be seen. It is a main source of the water as far as the Yamuna is concerned for the Delhi people. It is also the major source of the groundwater discharge as far as the Delhi, NCT Delhi is concerned. And then what are the challenges? The challenges over the years faced by the river Yamuna are due to, I am not saying these are the challenges, but these challenges are due to over and rapid urbanization of Delhi, encroachments in the river bed and river bank of the Delhi, over exploitation of the natural resources of the Delhi, including the water, serious deficiency and backlog in sanitation. We could not provide so far 100% sanitation facilities to the Delhi people, and that is why they are misusing the river Yamuna. Wastewater management services, how we are really managing the services of the wastewater, dwindling of the water flow in the river Yamuna, then extremely high level of the pollution. The major sources of the pollution, that is 80%. This is what master plan says, I am not saying. 80% discharge of the treated and untreated wastewater through the major drains. There are 22 drains in Delhi which are throwing the untreated and treated water, wastewater to the river Yamuna, and that is the major source. If we can tackle this one issue, 80% of the problem of the river Yamuna will definitely solved. Can we really address? Then comes the major suggested in the MPD 2021 for rejuvenation of the river Yamuna are concerned agencies must ensure through the public awareness campaign. Why they are saying the public awareness campaign? Because people should be discouraged to throw the garbage in the river. Majority of the people are throwing the garbage in the river itself. Then there is a need to have the regular desilting of the drains, because these drains are carrying all silts and filth in the river Yamuna. And that is why it is not only the desilting of the Yamuna is required, but the desilting of the all drains are required, because they are carrying these silts in the river Yamuna. Supreme Court has constituted a committee for cleaning and rejuvenation of the recommendations are available, and then seriously the action is required to be taken on this committee's recommendations, augmentation of the ground recharge from the river, and decentralized wastewater treatment system by ensuring minimum required flow in the river Yamuna is required to be ensured. Have we really ensured so far or not? The two key speakers, learned speakers, will be throwing some light on that. Develop a strategy for conservation of the development of the Yamuna river bed. What the general people expect as per the river Yamuna is concerned. Of course, it is the source of the water. We want a neat and clean environment on both sides of the river Yamuna so that I can really travel in the morning. I enjoy the water and all these things. So these are certain issues which just clicked to my mind. I thought, let me throw these issues open so that the learned key speakers and the participants will be in a better position to understand what is the situation as per the river Yamuna is concerned today. With this, I once again thank you to the organization for giving me the opportunity to say a few words. Thank you very much, Dr. Professor P.S.N. Rao, Chairman, DRC. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your word of encouragement. Now I request the guest of honor of this webinar, Sri Pradeep Kapoor, Secretary General ITPI, say the few words and his speech to address that. Sri Pradeep Kapoor.
Thank you, Pawan. At the outset, I extend my thanks to Professor P.S.N. Rao, Chairman DRC, for inviting me, not as a participant, but participant of honor. I am not a guest, so we should use the term as suggested by Dr. Meshram as a participant of honor, and chief guest can be chief participant. So in future we'll use this terminology. Straight away, for the last 2 months, we were deliberating on the issue of COVID, what are the impact of COVID in urban planning, so on and so forth. And it's good to see that we are shifting beyond that, beyond COVID. And I have seen Yamuna as neat as you can drink that water during my childhood. Originally I belonged to Delhi. That time I remember the ISBT was not there, and we used to go there by cycling because we were staying in Old Delhi, and we used to enjoy swimming in that water. And unfortunately, today that situation is not there. When it starts or originates from the Champasar Glacier, which commonly known as Yamunotri, it's still as neat as it should be in Delhi. But it's unfortunate that this is one of the longest in length, almost 1,376 kilometers, and it has a basin of more than 3.6 lakhs square kilometers. So there's no option with the development. If we see the impact of development, it's pollution in this river. I call it, these days I call it a Gandhanala, not a river. And unfortunately, I'm surprised that people consider it as a sacred river, but they don't understand what is the meaning of sacred. If something is sacred, we should treat it as a sacred, which is not being done. And river Yamuna is considered as the dead river because it has 0% oxygen. As one of the report says, which was prepared by CPCB, that it is also ecologically dead. The reason is that sewage, chemical waste, toxics from various industries, not only in Delhi, but through its flow when it passes through the cities of Agra, Mathura, Noida, Delhi, everywhere, the industrial effluents are discharged into it. And that resulted the river is now Ganga Nala. Other statistics which I wanted to share, taking from MPD, already presented by Dr. Meshram. But why Yamuna is significant for Delhi? At one point of time, this was the major source of drinking water. And today, it is not. The reason, again, is same.
Imran, hello.
Sir, there is some internet issue with Mr. Pradeep Kumar's computer. So he's just reconnecting in few minutes.
Okay.
To hear me?
Mr.
Yes,
Kapoor,
Yeah.
you can continue.
Yeah, my net has been disconnected, so I've joined through my mobile. Sorry for inconvenience. Uh, I'm completing my this thing. So it's good that we are deliberating on this issue, which is very important as far as the planning of Delhi is concerned, because finally I feel that we should bring this back to the same which was used to be before 70s. So I hope that the two learned speakers, they will deliberate on this issue and will come out with some useful recommendations. Thank you. Thank you once again to Dr. Rao for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Pawan.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now I hand over to the mic to the Professor Dr. P.S. Rao, Chairman DRC, Chairman DVSC, and the Director of SPA Delhi for his speech and to moderate the technical session. So, Dr.
Thank you.
P.S. Rao, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Pawan Kumar. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
So, good morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Delhi Regional Chapter of the ITPI, Institute of Town Planners India. And I take this opportunity to warmly welcome our chief participant and chief guest, Professor Dr. Meshramji, for his close coordination, support, blessings, and his encouragement. Without his encouragement, we would probably have taken it lightly. But thank you, sir, and also thank you, Pradeep Kapoor ji, the Secretary General of ITPI. Both of you have been supporting us a lot on the DRC activities. So before I introduce the two speakers for this morning, I would once again like to reiterate on the theme of this particular session. We are talking about the river Yamuna, we are talking about the city of Delhi, and we are talking about the interface between the river and the city and its people, and how urban planning can be seen as a tool to make that happen. As we are well aware, the river Yamuna, as has been mentioned, is actually seen not only as a river, but also perhaps as a tributary to the river Ganga. It's probably the largest tributary of the river Ganga over a length of about 1,000 376 kilometers, as Pradeep Kapoorji also mentioned, originates in the Yamunotri Glacier, and then coming across several states, it finally joins the river Ganga at Allahabad. We are well aware about the mythology with which the river Yamuna is associated. In fact, there are records of the year 1909 which talk about the cleanliness of the river Yamuna. But if you go back in mythology, we have what is called the Varaha Purana, which says that the water of the river Ganga, when purified 100 times, is the equivalent of the water of the river Yamuna, because the river Yamuna is considered to be much, much more purer as compared to the river Ganga. And these are twin rivers. Ganga and Yamuna are often treated as sisters. So we can't talk about Yamuna without talking about or making a reference to Ganga. So this river, which passes through the city of Delhi, actually receives a lot of pollution load. As many as 800 million liters of untreated sewage actually gets dumped into this river. And there are as many as 44 million liters of industrial effluents per day actually get into this, and only a small fraction of that actually gets treated. This is a very unfortunate situation. River, as we are well aware, is to do with not just water, but also several micronutrients, flora, fauna, and the total ecosystem. There are as many as 96 species of fish which exist in the river Yamuna. At one time, even the turtle used to exist in the river Yamuna, but now it is not there perhaps. Taking cognizance of the state of affairs of management of the river and its surroundings, the Yamuna Action Plan was introduced way back in the year 1993, wherein 12 towns of Haryana and 8 towns of Uttar Pradesh on the periphery of Delhi have been included under the Yamuna Action Plan so that the river can be cleaned and the large number of drains that drain their dirty water into the river can also be tackled. Unfortunately, over the years, 1,700 crores of rupees have been spent, and very recently a report has stated, but that precious little has been done even after having spent so much amount of money. And it was in the year 2014 that the National Green Tribunal recommended that 56 kilometers of stretch of the river Yamuna, most of it being in Delhi, to be treated as a conservation zone. Subsequently, in the year 2017, the High Court of Uttarakhand ordered that the river Yamuna be given the status of a person or a human entity, as is done perhaps in some other parts of the world. There is a great awareness today about the importance of rivers, riverine ecology, and the way in which the city speaks to the river. And very recently, there was a Kisan Sarathi, a major initiative called Run for Rivers that was organized on the 3rd of November 2019. There was a very big event in Noida. And there were several other events also. Even the Isha Foundation and others have also been focusing on the importance of rivers across the country, not just the river Yamuna, but across the country. And of course, there are proposals of interlinking of rivers and so on and so forth. But what is important is that the river is a part of the city. And when we make the master plan, we don't just have to paint the river blue and then just leave it for somebody else to take care of it, and then plan for what is there on the eastern side and on the western side. But then what happens to the river itself? And how do the people engage with the river? Mr. Pradeep Kapoor is perhaps one of the few lucky ones who had the opportunity to have a swim in the pure waters of the river Yamuna. Unfortunately, most of us don't have that. People have different values which they attach to water, and people have been dumping various kinds of idols and so on and so forth in the river. that has also been stopped now. Many initiatives have happened. But then it's not that nothing is being done. The Delhi Jal Board has also taken several initiatives. They have identified 4 major components for tackling the river. How do we tackle pollution of the river? Number 1. How do we restore the ecological value of the river? Number 2. How do we create value for the city and the citizens through the river? And number 4, how do we create a successful, commercially viable operation and maintenance system? Because because huge amounts of funds are required for all this. So how do you get the O&M happening so that the river on either side is properly maintained? So there are a very large number of issues. So the master plan is a very important tool that we have with us in addressing the land uses in and around the river. What should happen by the side of the river and so on. We have so many international examples, and as students and professionals of town planning, we all know that settlements have always originated by the side of the river, either for drawing water from the river, or for navigation across the river, or for the food supply that comes in the form of fish or vegetables that grow on the banks of the river, and so on and so forth. So the river has been a very intrinsic part of human civilization and urban life over civilizations. Today, unfortunately, we've left the river as a Ganda Nala, as somebody said some time ago, or we are simply dumping things into that and we've forgotten the river. So now getting back to the river, turning our face towards the river is now what is being talked about across the country. That is important for the city, for the environment, for the citizens. So in order to discuss all these and many more issues, today we have 2 very important people with us. I will introduce the lady first. We have with us Mrs. Poonam Diwan. Welcome, madam. She is a master's in botany from the Delhi University, and subsequently also studied landscape architecture at the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. She has over 30 years of rich, wide and varied experience in various areas related to environmental planning, landscape planning and development. She is currently designated as an additional commissioner in the Delhi Development Authority in the landscape department, and she has worked on several green areas, the Astha Kunj, the Swarna Jayanti Park, the Indraprastha Park and so on, and most recently the Biodiversity Park. And she also has many proposals on which she has closely worked on how do we conserve and how do we improve the river Yamuna. So with these few words, I will introduce Dr. Biswas subsequently after Mrs. Diwan has finished her presentation. So as we say, ladies first. So we would like to give the opportunity to the lady first. Over to Mrs. Poonam Diwan. I think you can take about 30 to 40 minutes. You can be comfortable. So over to Mrs. Diwan, please. You can share your screen and you can start your presentation. In the meantime, while Mrs. Diwan is uploading her screen, I will request all the participants to carefully listen to her, and you can jot down some questions. And after that, we will have the presentation by Dr. Biswas, and then only after both the presentations are complete, towards the end, we will have an open house in which we can have maybe 4 or 5 questions depending on the time that's available. Madam, you can share your screen and start your presentation.
Imranji, please unmute to ma'am.
Okay.
Her voice is not audible. Imran?
So now I think I am.
Yeah, now you are. Yes.
Good morning. So I will talk about Yamuna now. So I'll just share my screen. Good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, yes. Please go ahead, madam.
Okay. As Professor Rao has mentioned that rivers are inherent part of the development of a human settlements. The greatest civilization of our world have flourished, formed and flourished along the banks of the river. In case of Yamuna or Delhi, if we say, the growth of a Delhi started between the river and Aravali ranges. 7 cities, we all know that Delhi had 7 cities. Of Delhi flourished here from the oldest city is Indraprastha, which is dating back to the Mahabharata, and to the great Mughal city of Shahjahanabad. All were set with the Yamuna and the water bodies as their backdrop. So I'm not going to talk about from where Yamuna starts. I would just say Yamuna enters the NCT of Delhi at Palla and leaves at Jaipur. If anybody has visited Palla, what Mr. Kapoor just said, like once upon a time, the water near ISBT was really clean and all. If we still go near Palla, one can go and have a dip there. So the place is beautiful. I visited it somewhere in 2018. So I just want to share that also with you. And it leaves at Jaipur in the side. And most of the historical monuments in Delhi, like Red Fort, Old Fort, Humayun Tomb, are built on the Western River. To cross the river, there are 8 road bridges, 2 railway bridges, 2 metro bridges, and 2 fair weather pontoon bridges. And 1 new bridge is about to come, which would connect, NCRTC is working on it, which would start from Sarai Kale Khan. It will go to Meerut. As Professor Rao and Sir Meshram sir said, the Delhi stretch of a river is barely around 22 kilometers. And 52 kilometers, the total is an NCT of Delhi. And what is important is barely 2% of the length of a river basin. Delhi, it contributes to over 80% of the pollution load in the entire stretch of the river. We Delhiites really, we know it, that there's no water in the river actually for 9 months. And just if the water comes, then it is the danger of a flood. So to impound that water, 3 barrages have been constructed. One is at Wazirabad, where the river enters the city. Second is a Aitio barrage, and third is a Okhla barrage. Yes, we know there's a lot of pollution load in Yamuna. Professor Rao mentioned a lot of things about it, and Meshram sir. Yes, a lot of effort is now being taken care by the different authorities. As we see last year during Ganesh Chaturthi and Durga Puja, very few deities were offered to the river, which is a part of most of the even Chitranjan Park. They try to have some kind of a water pond, artificial water pond. And from DD also in a large green areas, lot of area was given where one could do the ritual. So I just want to say something has started. I won't say nothing is happening. What sir said, yes, movement is there. So now we will say talk about a zonal plan. This is a zonal plan which is called O zone. We see river which starts from Palla till Jaipur, and the either side of it, here is a ring road, the other side is a Pushta road towards the east side. If we analyze, there's a residential is just 10.74, which is a part and parcel of the floodplains already existing, and all blue and the green, when we say, it comes to more than 86%. So as sir was saying, the large amount of an area in the floodplain or is equivalent to the whatever total green area of Delhi, which is true. Yes, there are 22 drains which contribute wastewater to the Yamuna, and the major drains are Najafgarh, Sarita Vihar drain, Shahadra drain, Saint Nursing Home, Barapula, and the Maharani Bagh. Najafgarh drain contributes the maximum pollution to the river. Discharge is about 40% of the total BOT load, followed by a Shahadra drain. DJB has done a lot of work, and their plan is to put in 41 STPs all over Delhi, and 33 STPs are in a working state. Now I would like to talk about a project which DD has worked on. As we say, whatever we have lost, DDA with help of Delhi University took a project called Yamuna Biodiversity Park. The technical input has been given by Professor C.R. Babu and his team, and the civil work done by DDA, and the landscape planning was done again by a landscape department of DDA. I would showcase a project which is developed and what we learned from this that we followed for a Yamuna riverfront project. So the project Yamuna Biodiversity Park was conceived in year 2001. It is located beyond Wazirabad and is approachable from Outer Ring Road. This was developed in two phases, 157 acres and 300 acres. The 300 acres is a part of a floodplain. 157 is beyond a bunch. So the land around 157 acres were acquired for from an agriculture thing, and at that particular time, Professor C.R. Babu, who was heading a department of CMD, and Vice Chancellor of a Delhi University, and at that time, LG Delhi, that was Honorable LG Delhi, Mr. Kapoor. They met, and then that time it was talked about. Professor Babu has something in his mind that whatever has been lost, like there used to be a lot of species which used to be around the Yamuna. Now they are not existing. He has a plan which can we can create a ecosystems, and the same kind of a communities can come back, and that if we create that kind of a habitat, we would have large number of birds and animals. So whereas this 157 acres was acquired, so it was said, why not to start to have a biodiversity park? So that is the story of a starting of it. And in order to restore and preserve the lost natural heritage of life support system of Delhi, Biodiversity Park work was initiated under the aegis of a Biodiversity Foundation chaired by Honorable LG. So this is the plan. Phase 1 is around 157 acres. This is 300 acres. If we see on a Google image, we have a river Yamuna here. It is hardly 500 meters away from this. And this phase 1, when we had started planning the phase 1, when we reached the site was all white. It means it was saline. To change, tried to plant few trees, but nothing was happening. So the soil was modified by putting some grasses. With the help of grasses, the alkalinity of soil was changed, and then a wetland was created, which is around 1.6 kilometer. Why meandering? Just to give a effect of a meandering river. So I would come to the detail of this area. Our main aim was that students should come here. So visitor area was planned. In that visitor area, interpretation center, amphitheater, butterfly park, herbal garden, orchards were proposed. And to restore back the lost ecosystem, different communities of plant communities were executed, like sal dominated mixed evergreen, teak mixed evergreen. These riparian what Sir talked about. So this is a view of a visitor area where the facility. This is a view of a medicinal garden. Here one can find 450 species of a medicinal value, which used to be flourish along a Yamuna basin. So main aim and objective is to revive back the lost species which have. This is an interpretation center. In this interpretation center, we have a touch screen where students come and they learn the value of flora and fauna and how if one clicks a button and would understand the value of that particular tree. And since 2001, how this biodiversity park has been developed. It has been properly showcased there. Food kiosk we provided because a lot of students come to visit this park. Even Delhi government has made mandatory for the school students to visit this park. Reason in a 12th class, 10th and 12th class, now biodiversity is a chapter in the syllabus. So people, teachers come with the students and visit the park and learn a lot, because once you come and see and join with nature, as a child, I knew that butterfly comes through a cocoon, caterpillar and all. But when we were doing this project and I really saw those things in a nature, that was really wow for me also at the age of 40. But that is what, and the children, when they come, they feel really great and they would remember always they come here, they really see how there's mango. They really don't know, urban kids, what is mango tree, what is people. There's a sacred grove also where you see all kinds of trees which are being worshipped, just for them to know. Amphitheater has been created. The reason behind here, they can open lectures are given by a nature care educator, and there are scientists there who give them technical inputs. In the biodiversity park, as we say, near Yamuna, there should be no construction activity. So we have tried to developed through an eco-friendly material. You can see a bamboo bridge. This one is a plan of a phase 2. If we see this total wetland, this is around 100 acres. And when we started planning of this, as I said, it is very close to the river Yamuna. So if we can see some pipelines, so whenever the flood comes, the water of a flood enters this water body and gets collected in this area. So we collect around 500 million gallons of water in these wetlands. So they are all connected. So these are the deepest one. This is little shallow. So our main aim of having a biodiversity park here, we really got it fulfilled. If we see, this is the picture of 2016, yes. And so this, the table here, there's a comparison. When we started this project in 2002, there were only 19 terrestrial plants. Now we have 874. And as we created a habitat, so number of avifauna, butterfly, mammals, fishes, it has increased. The list is why I have shown Aravali, Neela Horse, Tilpat, Kamla Nehru. These are, DD has taken up 6 biodiversity parks. As we know, Delhi has 2 natural features. One is Yamuna, the other is Aravali range, which is normally known as ridge. So, biodiversity park has been developed on a Aravali range also. Now I'll come, whatever we learned from Yamuna Biodiversity Park, so we tried to put in same when we were planning for restoration and rejuvenation of a riverfront, which was a major task, and still it is not an easy one. The aim was to restore, revive and rejuvenate the floodplains. And what everybody, all my chief guest, Rao sir and Kapoor sir, they said, we have to make accessible to the citizen of Delhi. If it will be just as a functional thing where we can only put water, and that also we've converted into a sewage. If we'll try that people should come here. So that is one of our DDA's aim, to check the encroachment and to check the pollution in the river in a large scale of a dumping. Doing all this, it's not only DDA. Yes, DDA has floodplains, but there are a lot of stakeholders, DJB, Irrigation and Flood, CPCB, Delhi government. We all are part and parcel of doing it. But yes, the floodplains are being developed by DDA. As Rao sir said, there's a NGT has given some directions. PIL was filed by Mr. Manoj Mishra, who is a convener of a Yamuna J Abhiyan in 2012. That was the 6th application which was filed in NGT. The case was on dumping of a Malwa. There was nothing with the development because we all were polluting the river by dumping. So when chairman said, okay, orders were passed, fines were imposed on different agencies, and Malba was being removed, he says, what after if Malba would remove? So we showcased the project Yamuna Biodiversity Park. He was quite impressed, but then he says, but this is a very large stretch. So expert committee was formed. They visited the total stretch from Palla till Jaipur in 3 days. That was in October 2nd, 3rd and 4th in 2013. After visiting, they gave some kind of a recommendation, and those recommendations in the form of a judgment were given by NGT in January 2015. As per that recommendations, DDA tried, main guiding principles were ecosystem restoration, desiltation and restoration of a wetlands and water bodies in the floodplains, developing floodplain forests and grasslands, minimizing adverse effects, like treatment of a sewage water, whatever water sewage was also is coming into Yamuna is not properly treated. So to have some kind of a treatment before the water, the sewage water meets Yamuna, encouraging floriculture and a river people connect, developing greenways and accessible river zones, promoting ecotourism and public awareness for Yamuna, its floodplains and its conservation. At present, in the three areas, work has been started, and which I would show you with the help of a photograph, so that all of us would say, yes, something is happening in Hamari Delhi, and I'll say Hamari Yamuna. So we'll be little positive from Meli Yamuna to Nirmal Yamuna. This was the plan which we got it approved from the principal. Yes, one thing I forgotten. NGT made a principal committee. So all the projects, whatever has to now come on a Yamuna floodplains, have to have an approval from a principal committee. So we got this total plan approved from a principal committee. While doing this plan, we studied, we analyzed, and we identified the total area and identified large wetlands in the water bodies, potential biodiversity areas, potential interactive zones, and potential human interface. The areas which was next to the roads have been proposed as potential human interface and identification of a green linkages. Before designing the total area, we studied the total, how one should do a plantation also. So it was divided into 3 zones. Zone 1 was a riparian zone, which was next to river. Then zone 2, 3, zone 4 was a riparian zone. Zone 2 is between 205 and 20.6, and a major at the flood level 206.0 was given a zone 1, where we could have a river basin communities and floodplain forests. Most of these species are only being planted now, which we would showcase. DDA has divided, as per again say ki NGT and all, we divided to get it developed. As you know, there's a procedure of a tender and all. To have a small tenders, we have divided, and to plan it in a better way in a 10 areas, and which I would showcase. I mean, the 10 areas are, number 1, if I just show it to you, we call it Asita West. It is between old railway bridge to ITO, and we call it Asita West. Asita also is a name of a river, Yamuna. I'll just go through details now. This old railway bridge, which we call it Asita, the total area is around 200 hectares, out of which 93 hectares has been developed. 107 hectares. It had lot of agriculture thing and lot of court cases were there. Now all of them are clear. So tender would be floated very soon for this, but whatever is developed, I would just show it to you. Out of this 200 hectare, 93, as I said, is already developed. The yellow portions, it's already developed at site. While planning, what we did, first is the passive recreation area, which is up to 150 meter. And second is up to 300 meters. From a river, we have taken 300 meters and we are calling it as a greenway along a river. Then we see wherever depressions were there, they have been made, proposed as a water body or now as a developed as a water body to augment flood water. And in this portion, a Shantivan drain is going through. So we would treat this drain also through constructed wetland method before it joins River Yamuna. And large open spaces have been given for public to come. At present, in the morning, as it is very close to Old Delhi, people come here and do their yoga, morning walk and all. It is very popular at present. These are the few photographs of open spaces which is already developed. Now this is the area. The area is behind number 2. The area is behind Rajghat Thamalpur station. For Delia, they'll understand where it is. This area, the fly ash from the power station was all put it here. So first we have to detoxify this area before designing. So we have from Jamia, a consultant is giving us the proposal how to treat, how to detoxify the area. After detoxification, the proposal and all will be taken up. Third area is, we call it Old Railway Bridge to ITO Barrage, Eastern Bank. Earlier I talked about Western Bank. The total area here, it is 197. 90 hectare is with the DDA, which is this land, and 107 is with UP Irrigation Department. But with the interface, interaction with NGT and a monitoring committee, now DDA is going to develop this area as a deposit work for a UP irrigation land. That is the reason DDA has made a total plan. If we see in a total plan, the land normally next to a Eastern Marginal Bandh Road is with UP irrigation. And when we had started planning this area, it was difficult for us because we wanted a development for the people who are staying in East Delhi. Because in East Delhi, we all know there are hardly any open spaces. So our design, we wanted that access should be here, but at present, whatever we have developed, or I'll say we have started developing, is the area which is with DDA. In this land, total we have given a marsh area along the river, floodplain forests, grasslands. Existing wetlands have been deepened to restore, and yoga meditation spaces, which is rain garden, multi-purpose spaces, and water bodies. So, sorry. So this is hello. This one is a ITO barrage. From a ITO, this Vikas Marg, there's an access. Anybody who wants to visit this area can access from here. This is a developed green area with a large water body. Now I'm going to talk about the area 4, which is Nizamuddin Bridge to a DND flyaway. This is a famous area where people used to say where Art of Living function was held. So in this area, a land has also been allotted for a compensatory plantation. And the red mark, this was the place where Art of Living function was done. Here, if we want to correlate, this is a DND. When we come from Delhi, we have a Sundial Park, and the entry of this park is from just starting of a DND. We enter a park, we would see large wetlands and a trail. Then multi-purpose detention basins are there, a lot of forested area. If now we move from DND, we can really see a work going on at site. I would show you some photographs. This is partly developed water body. These are these two water bodies, and these two are under development. Plantation is already been done. You can see last year it was done. And this is area 5, DND 2, Kalindi bypass. Here we are developing biodiversity park. We call it as a South Biodiversity Park. Whenever, if we move from Delhi to DND on a right-hand side, this area was full of Iconia. So Iconia is being removed, and in this area, 9 small drains enter and meet and pollute the area. 9 constructed wetlands are being developed to clean that drain water so that the clean water enters the river. And at Neela Horse, we've already constructed clean water. We've constructed a wetland, which is, the result is fabulous. Even NGT chairman and all visited Neela Horse, and they also were quite happy to see the quality of water. So similar way, Professor Babu is constructing total 11 wetlands. Hopefully we'll get a very good water, and same way the story of a Yamuna Biodiversity Park would be repeated. That is what we all are hoping. The site is, the 6th one is NH24 to DND Flyway. Again, as I had said earlier, the land next to the pushta or a road is of, with the UP irrigation, and more towards the river is with TDA. The project is under planning stage. Similarly, in this plan also, same theory that 300 meter would be for the river if there's some kind of a flood or greenways. More towards the road would be for the public, and this would be a interface. If we see the proposal, entry is from the three entries we have given, because it's a large area. We have given a vehicular road which is already existing at site. Same would be used. Cycle track, pedestrian walk. Most of the parts which are being developed in Yamuna floodplain are kacha. Parking also we are trying to have a kacha, but one or two places we have used a boulder, tiles, but with a soft kind of a thing, because sometimes you really need, if some important people are coming, or maybe for maintenance and management. A ghat, amphitheater, village-scape, some viewing platforms, gym, multi-purpose area, and few shelters and all, kid plays area. We want that people should visit this area and enjoy the large green space as a floodplain. This area is next, we call it as a Hindon Cut wetland. Again, this has been entrusted to CMDE. Here we have a Hindon Canal, and we have a large water body which is really polluted. So here two constructed wetlands. Professor Babu is again going to clean the water. That was the main aim for this area. The 8th one is a area between Wazirabad Barrage to Old Railway Bridge. This is on an eastern bank. Earlier, as we all know, in Delhi, a lot of projects are coming up. And when new projects come, the trees are cut. And as per the policy of a forest department, if we cut one tree, we have to plant 10 more trees. So a lot of area for compensatory plantation has been allocated here. After that, DDA as well as LG sir also said, let's not just have a jungle here, because we are very close to again a East Delhi settlement. Usmanpur and all is heavily populated. So now the leftover area, which is around 236, which is quite a bit, would be developed for the people who can use, and they'll be connected with the river. The area, I think most of us are familiar with it. It's Wazirabad to Old Railway Bridge. This is the area where we have Majnu Ka Tila Gurudwara, monastery, Kudsia Ghat, Sur Ghat, and lot of temples, Yamuna Bazaar. So it was a court order only. Either we should give work either to INTAC or Aga Khan Trust. Aga Khan Trust denied, and then now the design is being developed by INTAC. They have given us a proposal. This is a ring road, this is a Yamuna Bazaar, this is ISPT bridge, this is a metro line. So they have given us a proposal which would reflect to this Kudsia Bhag also. They have proposed Baradaris, Chhatris, Ghats, Aarti Sthal, so that, and the water would be clean here, so that, as what Kapoor sir said, a dip in a river. Let's try if we can have a dip in a river Yamuna. And what Rao sir said, it is people in a mythology, they say if you have a dip in a Yamuna, your all sin will be over. Let's see if we in this project can provide clean water. Already there's a clean water in this area in a Surghat, but that the construction is quite a bit. That time it was done by WAPCOS, but now we are trying with less for construction if we can have a good water here. This project is ITU to NH24. This is NH24. This is Commonwealth Village. This is a railway line. And I think we all can relate this from a Millennium Depot. Here, we have proposed a lot of activities, because otherwise in a Yamuna side, it was very difficult to give a parking facility and all. But here, on this NH24, if we go towards the Commonwealth Village, there is a lot of space where one can easily enter and then get a connectivity to a river. So we have given her the entry would be from our road, which connect from NH24 to a Commonwealth Village. So from there we would enter. All the depressions are connected. We would love that people should cross through if they can't go to a river. We all are hoping we'll have a good water in the river. If not, let our children enjoy some kind of a large water bodies which is not polluted, and given some pavilions, sculptures and all, so that whatever is missing, we can't provide in DDA grains. And with the water, we've tried to propose different cascades. Yes, with minimum construction activity, that is important. As I talked to earlier about the compensatory plantation, so large area we have already given in a Yamuna floodplain as a compensatory plantation, which is around 500 hectares, which is already given. Now there's no more land. Whatever DTA is developing, so in that land only we are telling them to have a plantation as per DTA proposal. That is what I want to say. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Poonam Diwanji. Before we take questions, actually we have an open house planned towards the end. So I'll request the participants to kindly note down, and we will have the open house later. So now let us move forward to the next presentation. Before that, I must thank Poonam Diwanji for the excellent work that the Delhi Development Authority is doing. And I think you are trying to rejuvenate the river, conserve the ecosystem, and look at the flora and the fauna, and also connect, give an opportunity for the people to engage with the river through all these green spaces, constructed wetlands, and so on and so forth. So I think it's a wonderful initiative for all our Delhiites. So thank you very much, madam. And now we'll go to the next presentation. This presentation is by Professor Dr. Rabindrati Biswas. He is a professor at the School of Planning and Architecture, New Delhi. All of us know him very well. And he is also heading currently the Computer Center. and he's basically he's done his master's in IIT Kharagpur, and subsequently he's done his doctorate from IIT Roorkee, and he has wide and varied experience. Currently, he's also working on an international research project on water in the city of Delhi. So over to Dr. Biswas, please. I think you'll take about 10 to 15 minutes, I hope.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Over to Dr. Biswas.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me opportunity to speak on River Yamuna in the city of Delhi. Basically, what I will do, I will stick to my presentation to two perspectives: the perspective of Master Plan 2021 and one of the important policy which is being implemented now and being discussed also earlier, which is Delhi water policy. As I feel that Yamuna is almost providing 70% of our water requirement. So water policy is important, how we are looking to that, to integrate these to our city. So my presentation will be basically in four main area. First, I will discuss introduction, where I will discuss about Yamuna River, and then basically I will discuss about river and the city, and then what are the things that we can take for planning of a river in context of a city. And then I will go through the major proposal which is there in master plan, and whether these proposals are being translated to the grassroots level or implementation level or not. And then water policy of Delhi, which is, of course, it is being prepared earlier. It was in draft form, and 2016, it is now available. And what all proposals are there in water policy, whether we are taking care of that to consider the role of our river Yamuna, and how we are going to integrate it with the city of Delhi. So in the introduction, I just want to mention that any river, in urban area, basically relates to a major four type of relationship. First relationship is land and river relationship. That means there is something aquatic system and there is terrestrial system. And then this leads to the understanding of how we use water and how we use or prepare our activity in terms of land use planning. So it is important for planner to understand in this relationship of land and river. And second one is people and river. So how this river provides economic activity, how people take this opportunity to have their livelihood, what is their social and cultural views and values for this river in their vicinity, how much they are dependent on their socio-cultural activity and economic activity. So in this way, we can see the peoples and river relationship. The third relationship, which generally we talk, is environment and river. So any area, any spaces we talk about, it has environmental issues and others. And then how the river provides that ecological values to us, ecological and environmental values to these situations. And the last one is basically technology and river. What are the intervention we do in river, whether these interventions are good for us or whether this intervention also deteriorates some cases in the condition of the water or relation of water with the city. So in this case,
Dr. Biswas, can you go full screen, please?
Okay. Okay. Sorry. So in four aspects, if we further look, what are the major function of a river in urban area? It provides source of water, both surface water source and groundwater source. It provides the maintenance and environment ecosystem. It also gives aesthetic values and recreational values. provide livelihood, economic value, using of like ferry, flying of boats, fish culture, agriculture. Urban agriculture is now important aspect that we talk about, horticulture, floriculture and others. And also it gives religious belief, activity like socio-cultural values and festival pujas. Now, if you look at how it is functioning in case of Yamuna and Delhi, many things already has been discussed, but I just want to mention this few important one, that we have demand is increasing, water demand is increasing, and at the same time, water quality is decreasing in Yamuna itself. So whether we are able to take more water from Yamuna, whether it will be able to provide the self-sustaining flow or not, these are the issues that we need to understand. Present situation is it is completely polluted and we cannot go further using this water if we are not improving the situation. And the recharge of groundwater is also happening, but then recharge of groundwater, when its quality of surface water is bad, then recharge is also bad. So it is not a situation which people and human can consume in later stage from the underground. So then issue of how we are going to change this quality of surface water so that groundwater quality in this river stress is also maintained. And this issue has been already discussed in MPD 2021, where it is talking about 22 polluted drains are also feeding to wastewater to the Yamuna itself. So how we are going to look to this is important for us. River ecosystem is degraded and dead, and no aquatic life. So bearing some stresses of river Yamuna, it is almost dead. And boating, fishing is not at all possible. People are not using it. Of course, Madam has given and shown us some light on that, and some area has been reclaimed and we are able to use it for this purpose also, but it's still it is a limited one. And agricultural use is being done, almost it is unauthorized agricultural use. This increased pollution also, and the food that is being produced there is contaminated with, it is contaminated with various type of arsenic, mercury, lead and others. So it is very difficult for consuming this type of food, agriculture and agricultural production from this area. So it is important for us how it is functioning and how we are going to change the situation.
Biswas, can you share your slides?
Slide is not, it's open.
One slide is there since beginning. No other slides are there on your screen.
Is it?
Can you stop and reshare the screen?
Okay. The first slide was available, after that it was not.
No, yes.
Now please reshare the screen.
Yeah, I am trying. Now is it visible?
Yeah.
Is it visible now?
Yes.
But go to concern slide.
Yeah. So I was there in this, that aquatic life and other.
The full screen nahi hai. Full screen.
Sir, again it's stopped on the first slide. Yes.
Yeah.
Go to concern slide, Biswas.
What I will do, if I go.
Yeah, you keep on pressing.
That's okay. If I go to the full screen, then there is some problem.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
So if
Carry
it is
on.
visible, then I can continue. So when we go for that religious and cultural activity, whether Yamuna is able to provide that, two pictures is there during the Chhat Puja. Another one is we are doing actually cremation of dead bodies that we generally immerse dead bodies who are actually of 5 years and less. So these type of things and activity create more issues and problem rather than helping us in terms of religious activity and others. So whether that poly-deep is possible or not, this question still raised. So when we go further, we find that there are policies, actions, plans, and there are organizations who are responsible for that. Delhi Development Authority is doing a lots of work on that. Delhi Jal Board is having its own understanding of River Yamuna, and some action has been taken. Then Delhi Urban Arts Commission also prepared plan on this area. Irrigation and Flood Control Department is there. Then Central Pollution Committee Control Board is there. Delhi Pollution Control Committee is there. Then National Green Tribunal is also giving direction for different type of activity. Yamuna Development Authority is there. NGOs like already discussed, INTEC and others are still there. Now, with these all departments, I have chosen only the policy which is plan and policy by Delhi Development Authority, and the second one is water policy, Delhi water policy. Delhi Jal Board has prepared it. So I will go through these main features or major recommendation of these policies and how much we are able to achieve it in terms of implementation of that will be discussed. In Master Plan 2021, when we discuss environment, Yamuna, it is basically discussed in the part of environment. And in environment, there are two components where we discuss about natural resource conservation and natural features. In both these, Yamuna has been discussed a lot, and some policy guideline has been given. And also the third part where we are discussing physical infrastructure, there also water supply part, Yamuna has been discussed in terms of its share. How much share is having Yamuna in terms of raw water supply to the city. Now I will go to the details of the few major proposal and policy related proposal in regarding Yamuna and how much we have done, what type of issues and problem we can take care of further implementation of that. One of the policy is talking about river bed to be delineated with appropriate land use, riverfront development. I think this issue has been taken very seriously by DDA, and Madam has given a very nice presentation on that, how it is being done. But the issue still remains that what about this all 22 streams and drains, which is acknowledged by master plan, that these are also part of the river system. If we want to have proper management of Yamuna, I feel we cannot leave that 22 streams without preparing any plan for that. And it came in many situations that when we go for these, we don't find any information, we don't find any existence of these drains in zonal development plan even. So it is important for us to look in these issues also. All drainage basins are to be made self-sufficient by integrated water resource management. That is a policy by Master Plan 2021. But after that, no action has been taken. How it will be integrated and how it will be self-sufficient is not clear to us. But maybe it is not in the work of a master plan. It may be further go to the zonal development plan. In this regards, I want to mention also, Drainage Master Plan 2031 is being prepared by Delhi Jal Board, and also it has given basin and sub-basin issues of water, drainage and others. But that has not been integrated to any of our zonal plan and any other development plan, which is important for us to look and then take care of that. Then other proposal like development of parks, greens, corridors, and recreational area. Yes, development of parks and some activity has been done in Yamuna and floodplain. But when we look at the green corridor and recreational area along streams is not being done. So it should clearly come as a blue-green corridor. Blue means water, green means with all this plantation and others. Corridor in all zonal development plan, or when we go for local area plan and ward plan, that should clearly be there so that the action can be taken further. And community participation has been discussed, but in terms of provision of these infrastructure, I don't know how much community is being taken care for their participation in these things. Next, public awareness campaign is important. So one of the things that already we have done some work in Yamuna Plain and others, that can be a showcase to start with public awareness campaign, and then it can trickle down to all the other 22 drains, and then how we are going to take public participation for development of these 22 drain is important. Creation of regulated floodplain reservoir. This has been taken by, this is a proposal in Master Plan 2021 and has been taken by the Delhi Jal Board. But then this is not, till now it is not a part of a plan in master zonal plan and others. So it is still how we are going to have this large reservoir which is being proposed by the Delhi Jal Board. Still not clear. Then we look at the water policy, Delhi Water Policy 2016, and then see the proposal. The first issue that has been discussed, that ensure river quality, water quality, bathing quality by 2020. So we are now in 2020. How much is achieved still not clear, but the approach is again the same approach that master plan has proposed, like ecological approach, floodplain approach, and riparian area, streaming of ecological recovery and others. For land use planning for river bed and floodplain also addressed in MPP 2021, but now it should further detailed out in other area which are not a part of only river Yamuna. Progressively reduce its abstraction of water. So now the question is, total water requirement is increasing. So how we are going to reduce that one so that the load on river Yamuna is reduced. That was a proposal in Delhi Water Policy 2021. Now the question is, then we should go for another approach which is discussed in many platforms, that water demand management and how we are going to reduce the water requirement in Delhi. MPD 2021 also mentioned that, but how we are going to do it still in a question. Delhi Jal Board have not done anything to reduce the demand. So that is important for us, that to integrate this river with the city, then the stress on river should be removed, and then some action can be taken on that. Water policy, again, talk about storage capacity increase, which has been already discussed, that storage capacity we are trying to increase, and Delhi Jal Board has planned it. But then it requires a proper assessment of hydrological and other technical parameters. And then our acts, bylaws and others regulation should be in place also. Otherwise, something which is coming out there, it's not backed by our environmental law, our acts or our building bylaws, may be difficult for us for implementing all these things. So integrated, it also talks about integrated approach to balance flooding, environment and other social issues. So these things are, again, still we don't know how we are going to take care of that. Then also it talks about encroachment, diversion of water bodies and water diversion of your stream and others, drainage channels. This require integrated plan, integration of master plan, then policy and drainage plan. These three things should be integrated to find out that where these drainage channels are there and how, whether that should be changed its direction and others. Because if you change this, then sometimes it is even encroached upon, and we don't know how much is available for us for actually giving a ecological benefit to the area. Conservation of river corridor and water bodies has been discussed also, but it's not only river, it's also water bodies which are in form of lake and pond and others also to be considered. Then again, there is also policy on encroachment and developed activities in the protected upstream area. So it should be regulated, but then to take any decision of this regulation, we need to have technical information, change in this land uses and others, and if it is creating issues of hydrological recharge and others, pollution and others, to be discussed properly, and then regulation should be there in place to take care of that. Then we are having environmental needs of aquatic ecosystem. So that biodiversity park has been proposed by DDA is a welcome steps. Then we have to do it much and more so that the entire Yamuna is having a proper aquatic system. Presently, it is in some stresses, it is there, not in. And also the drains and streams leading to Yamuna is important for us. Water policy also talk about the groundwater recharge and effluent and restriction of industrial effluent and quality of this recharge and others also is discussed, but there is no proposal on that. Then there are agricultural activities happening, so how we are going to control it, whether it's biofertilizer to be used or some floodplain area is properly given for this agricultural activity with restricted use of chemicals and pesticide and others can be thought of to make it more effective. Now, lastly, this is the last slide. I just want to conclude in this discussion that plans and policy does help to take positive action or integration of Yamuna with the city of Delhi, and approaches already exist. It is not that it is not there, but it needs further strengthening and proactive approach for integration of these policies. There are other policies which I have not discussed, policies related to climate, policies related to environment and others are there, which should be also considered, and plans, which are development plans, which are to be integrated. Zonal plans, local plans to be more responsive to integrate these policies, because in master plan level, these are only policy guideline may be there, but implementation is being done through zonal plan and local area plan. There is also some work has been done in basin and sub-basin plan. So integration of these plans, like integrated water resource management plans, to be prepared for certain part of or all part of Delhi, and then it should be integrated with zonal development plan, local area plan and others. Now, the last one, which is important for us, is awareness of and community participation. There should be a process to develop for public awareness, community participation, and information sharing, because many of these things are being done, but not being informed to the people, so people cannot take proper use of these, and this creates sometimes problem and issues. I think I will complete. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Biswas, for this exhaustive presentation that you've made on policies, plans, and programs for water and integration of Yamuna with the city of Delhi. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are now coming to the last part of this webinar, which we have titled as the open house, and I have received questions from 3 gentlemen. So I will just read out these. First, we have Mr. R. Srinivas from the TCPO. he is very keen to know about the river regulation zone, and he's also wanting to know about the problem of soil liquefaction that we face along the Yamuna River, particularly in the unauthorized colonies, where in fact we have seen very unfortunate incidents of some unauthorized buildings built on the floodplains collapsing and so on and so forth. After R. Srinivas, then there is Mr. Jagdish Singh, who wants to know something about the DC norms, development control norms on the floodplains, and he also wants to know about the flood preservation. And then we have Dr. Amir Ali Khan, who is interested in knowing about flood zoning, particularly from the earthquake point of view. Can I request Poonam Diwanji, if you or Dr. Biswas, whoever would like to take up these? I think Mrs. Diwan, you would like to take up some of these questions? You'll have to unmute your mic.
So as we all know, and we have seen it, like last few floods and all, and the liquefaction, whatever happened even in Lakshmi Nagar in East Delhi. Lot of houses were taken away with the flood. I remember when we were working, there was some court case where Mr. Ghosh, who was at that time with the disaster management the thing in IIP only. So we DD had taken him as a consultant. So we were sitting in front of Attorney General for one court case, and at that time he said, we were sitting in his room next to UPSC thing, Shahjana Road. So we were talking about Jaipur, but he said, sir, जब flood आएगा तो पता नहीं आपके घर का क्या होगा. That is what he said. So within a flood area, yes, with the earthquake and with the flood, things are bad. That it is not my reply, but I still remember Professor Dr. Ghosh saying so, and that was a statement for the court.
Okay. Now there's Mr. Jagdish Singh who wanted some intervention or some response from your side on flood prevention. What are the measures being taken, or some of these parks that you're suggesting, in what way they will help in flood prevention?
So what I showcased first project, that is Yamuna Biodiversity Park, in which I had mentioned that we are augmenting lot of water there. Okay. So we are making use of that extra flood what we get, and same after cleaning it would go and improve our even groundwater also, which is very, very important, and it's a call of this hour also, like the water table is going down. So when we are creating this retention basins in our riverfront project, so water quality along the river plain would be improved, and the quantity. So we would be using that extra water which would be used. That is what I can say. That
okay.
Instead of creating all reservoir with the cement and all, and as we all know that the soil would filter and we'll get a good groundwater.
Okay. Mr. Jagdish Singh wanted to know about the development control norms. What are the norms? What is it that you can do in ozone? What is it that you cannot do in ozone? Is there possibility of some clarification on this?
As per court, whatever now we are doing as per the guidelines of a court, no construction activity.
Okay.
No earth can, I mean, whatever we are doing it also developing in the river or biodiversity park, if in our proposal we had given us some kind of a meandering water body, whatever soil was taken out by deepening those water bodies were put around as a mounds.
Okay.
So maximum, yes, for our ghats, maybe we have to take a permission from principal committee, because that also is a requirement. Otherwise, they clearly say no construction activity. Yes, path and all, also whatever we are doing is only kacha.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Mrs. Poonam Devan. Dr. Biswas is also here. So, Dr. Biswas, would you also like to react on some of these?
Just I want to mention here that river regulation zone, which one is basically sometimes we call floodplain zone, sometimes we call riverbed. So in Delhi, we have riverbed and floodplain zone same. And then we have regulation zone between these two embankment in both side of our river. So that is the area where all these regulations comes and all this type of control that we are having. But otherwise, for other area, when we go for a small streams and drainage and others, we don't know the regulation and others. How much area we have to leave for these type of streams, we don't know. So this is not clear. Generally for river, there are some norms available in national standards are there for river zoning and river regulation area, but which is not being basically done in case of Delhi. I think, I don't know, I have not find anything special on that.
Thank you, Dr. Biswas. I think you have also answered another person's question. There is one Mr. Chitradeep Sengupta who is also interested in something similar. He wants to know, is there any one point source of information where you can get data on water quality, soil quality, etc., etc. Actually, I think Dr. Biswas has answered the question in an oblique manner. I can also put in for this that, you know, the river is a very long stretch, and wherever you want to do whatever you want to do, then you will have to probably look at those areas, because the quality varies from point to point. So there is really no one source of information here. So I think by and large we have the time is now 12:55. So we have originally planned this program for about 2 hours. So we are almost reaching the conclusion of this program. So I would like to now request Mr. Amit Gupta to take over from me and give the vote of thanks. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, from my side. Over to Secretary Pawan Kumar and Treasurer Amit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I request Sri Amit Kumar, Treasurer DRC, to propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Amit,
Thank
please.
you so much. Yes, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Respected dignitaries, my senior colleagues, friends, and students, on the behalf of Delhi Regional Chapter, Institute of Town Planners, India, it is my privilege to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. Firstly, we are thankful to our chief guest, Professor Dr. D.S. Meshram, sir, President ITPI, for sparing his valuable time and experience on this subject. Also, we are thankful to our guest of honor, Shri Pradeep Kapoor, Secretary General ITPI, for taking out time to attend the event and enlightening us on the subject. We are extremely grateful to our eminent speakers, Ms. Poonam Devan ma'am, Additional Commissioner Landscape BDA, for her excellent presentation and enlightening us on River Yamuna front development from planning perspective in Delhi. And also Professor Dr. R. Biswas for giving us valuable insight on Master Plan provision with respect to Yamuna River and Water Policy of Delhi 2016. And we are also thankful to Professor Dr. P.S.N. Rao, Chairman DRC, Director SP Delhi, and Chairman DUSC for hosting and monitoring webinar and also sharing his valuable views on this subject. Last but not the least, we would like to thank the audience for making this web-based seminar possible and successful in this COVID pandemic situation. Hope the knowledge gained through this webinar will help us in our future endeavor in the planning. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rao.
Thank you very much.
And your team.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar.
Namaskar. Namaskar.